Hi, my name is Simon. In this short video series, I want to make a walkthrough because I built that product I kind of like and I did not find many resources about the tech I used, so I thought it's time to give something back. You probably have seen something similar before. It's a dashboard, an admin dashboard, to administer your models. Maybe create some information, some blocks, also more complicated stuff that is connected and interconnected. On the left side, we have the usual primary navigation as you know it from an app. This is actually not an app, it's running in the browser because I made use of the new support of Flutter running in the web. So Flutter is the main technology used, and this runs on all devices as well as different OSs natively. When we head over from the dashboard to this list of events, we have the usual kind of list where we can make operations and we could create new elements. We can reload the list. And we can switch over to our account, which is currently not that interesting because we can just sign out. Oh yeah. So while we did this, there's actually a lot happening here because this is not intended to be just a very small, very focused app. It should be quite generic and kind of serve as a small framework to get you started building a very complex interface. So what I use here and what I like about it is that I use a very powerful navigation concept because navigation in the browser is not that easy. You have your usual hierarchical navigation that you are used to from apps, but you also have browser URLs that the user can type inside this field and jump at arbitrary places inside your app. This especially gets complicated when you want to have a clean handling of state inside your app, because one of the things that is different to a usual web page that is generated on the server side is that your state remains on the client side and you have full control when you destroy state, when you create a state, when you reflect it back to a backend. Now in the upcoming series, we're going through a number of topics. I'll walk you through code. I will use some visualizations, actually old school visualizations, which is just me drawing on paper, but it's just a lower barrier for me to produce these videos. And we will go through the following topics, I think in this order. So we will first look at state management because it's the most exciting topic, I believe. I use the library Riverpod, which is very similar to the most popular provider library, but it's actually just a provider library with some extra type safety. That's why I especially like it. It's almost in version 1.0. I'm using the currently newest version. Next, we will see how navigation works. And we're actually using the navigation 2.0 version that Flutter offers, which is like an alternative way to get declarative routing, which means we can connect this with our global state and have full control about where we're navigating to, when state is built up and when state is destructed, connected to where the user navigates to. Next, we're going to looking at authentication because authentication is kind of more complicated than in a one framework fits all solution where you usually have something session based. We want to use token based authentication where we use underneath JWTs that auto refresh themselves whenever they get expired. After that, we will look at a little message system I built into this application over here that tells me what happens underneath the system. This is especially interesting when we come to error handling, because errors might happen at various points in time when the user uses your application. In the first videos, we will make a walkthrough to the current state. The code and the current state you can find on GitHub. You just head over to github.com/smartnuance, go to Flutter Admin Kit, and here you can find some tags, and they help you to refine the state that was used to produce these videos. So when you go to tags, you can see that there's video overview, which is the one to use if you want to follow along and see the code. And by the way, the code is released under MIT license, which is very permissive. I also list the contributor which basically built up the basic dashboard, which is responsive as well. So I used that and built all the state management and navigation on top of it. So in the next video, we are going to look at state management. Stay tuned.